What's up, everybody? Good morning. Welcome aboard Trading Live with Bubba. And markets are still quiet. A little action today, but the volume is lacking, and the overall speed to the market is lacking. But at the end of the day, we'll see if we can find some trades. And unfortunately, we missed a couple that I gave out last night on my Monday night call. But doesn't matter. There's always something to find, or sometimes it's better to do nothing. But right now we don't have any true blow-offs to look at, so we have to sit and wait for that. We'll look at the rest of the board and see what's going on. So as we start, we'll start with the Apple. Apple is getting to a point a little bit oversold. It was probably something to potentially look at. Again, I don't worry about what we may or may not miss. There's always going to be something. But a couple of days ago when we talked, it was something that we would have looked at. Amazon, in the middle of nowhere. Again, you can see a lot of things drawn in. And at the end of the day, okay, sometimes we have something to do, sometimes we don't. And, we're not going to force any action. It just doesn't make a lot of sense to do that. So we'll sit back and wait. Coin, not much to do here again. And you're going to see this is pretty much a common theme. Crowd, again, not much to do. This is one I talked about last night of selling Meta. Okay, and it's coming down pretty sharply right now. Again, look, there's never a worry if you miss a trade. There's always another one coming at some point. The key in this business is to be patient and wait. Google is certainly one to look at, and certainly, in fact, I'm going to go look at it right now and maybe put a little trade on here. Google. And let's see here. I'm going to sell spreads for. Now, you do have an interesting dynamic. You have the jobs coming out. You got ADP jobs tomorrow and the non-farm Friday, with a weird day on Thursday because the markets are partially open, partially closed. But certainly, if we look here, I'm going to sell the 200, 250 call spread for 75 cents. Okay. And we'll see what happens with that. Okay. And as we look back down, go to IWM, nothing to do, in the middle of nowhere. Moderna. This would be one. I don't know. There must be some news here. I'm going to take this off. I don't even want to look at this anymore. It's been flat for so long. Microsoft is already popped, so we missed an opportunity there. Again, it's never a miss. There's always, again, something else to do. MSTR, which we did talk about on Thursday, and it did rally pretty sharply. Now it's just hovering around the mean. So again, nothing really for us to do here. Nugget. Again, this also bounced. Nothing to do in here. NVIDIA. This is one that I did want to sell last night. Okay. And it did open higher, and I did sell it this morning again. I don't want you to feel bad that you missed it. It happens. Okay. This is part of the business. Again, you're not always going to see every single trade. We do look through them. The Qs, which we talked about the other day, looked for a pop. We got it. SMCI, in the middle of nowhere, nothing to trade. The Square, nothing to trade. SPY, nothing to trade. So you're seeing a very common thread here that there's very little to do. Okay. And again, we're not going to force trades, especially into the market that we're in right now. Tesla, nothing to do. Win, nothing to do. XBI, nothing to do. And Zoom, you may want to look at selling some put spreads here. Certainly would be reasonable. And let's just take a look at it and see. zoom. There's really not enough credit that I would like to get here. The 82.80, about 60 cents. Not all that thrilled. I'm going to sit back and pass. Again, I don't really like the overall action in the market right now. I think it's very quiet. I think this is where you have to learn to be more patient as we sit back and wait. I think that it's a problem. Hold on one second. Okay. All right. So again, what we're going to do is just kind of watch. I mean, again, unfortunately, there's not a lot to do. So I don't have a lot of information to give you today. This is one of the things in a slow, dull market that, keeps you from actually being active. And again, we don't want to be active. If the market isn't active and giving us things to do, then we certainly don't want to be active. Again, I don't like to, give away trades, just to trade. I mean, I think trading just to trade is always a problem. I think you have to wait for the mathematical edge to be able to get in, and you can see how slow the market lacks what we call speed and activity, and certainly, I don't really want to be overly involved when you see this kind of activity in the market. It makes it much more challenging to be able to want to trade, to want to be active. I think that is something that you have to learn as a trader. Is sometimes there's just nothing to do. Okay, and again, as much as I would like to, have and give you things to do, it just doesn't always make a dramatic amount of sense to do so. So we'll watch and we'll see if something shows up here. And again, if it does, great. And if it doesn't, then we'll have nothing. But again, we won't be involved, and we won't have anything to worry about should that be the case. Okay, that is something that you always have to remember. Okay, that sometimes it's better to do nothing and not put yourself in jeopardy than to get overly involved. Again, you see no speed, you see no activity in the overall market. So again, where should I go? What should I trade? And at the end of the day, I'm not overly interested in too many things. I just did get filled on Google. Okay, so that was that. But again, we'll watch this, and if you have any questions, you can feel free to fire them in. But one thing we have to always remember is that it doesn't always, make sense. Or sometimes the markets are just too much of a challenge to trade into. So why should we, force ourselves into action when there is not much action to trade? And I think that you have to learn that lesson, as you go. Okay. Because again, it's always a challenge. It's always a business, but remember, this is a business, and we're here to make money. We're not here to just trade to trade. We're not here to pay commissions. We're here to make money. Okay. And if there is not a high probability of making money, then why should we get involved? Okay. That's always one thing that, we always want to learn. And again, I just don't see very much action here. We'll sit around for a few more minutes, but, certainly, if there's no reason, to get involved, again, I ask you, why should we? Okay. And that is always the case. When we're trying to trade, does it make sense, okay, to play? And again, I don't see any real particular reason here to get overly involved. Again, I hope that makes sense to everybody. But certainly, I'm not here to don't. Okay, I am here to try to make money, and I'm here to try to help you make money. But without it, again, there's just not much action that says that we should be trying to be active in this market. So, again, as much as I'd like to be active and as much as I'd like to, you saw by all the charts that there wasn't really much to do. Okay. And so, again, if there's not much to do, why should I get overly involved? So, again, we'll stick around for another couple of minutes, but without action, there's nothing to trade. And certainly you don't want to hear me talking about nothing, which is basically what we're doing right about now. Okay. So we have to be, again, always have to be prepared. But right now, there is very little activity to actually get involved with. So rather than waste everybody's time, we'll just call it a day. And we'll be back next Tuesday because Thursday the markets are kind of closed. Have a great week. We'll see y'all later.
You know how the financial world goes. Here comes the buzzkill. Please make sure to take some time to read this boring disclaimer. We will owe you one.